Thank you, Melody and Brian, and hello, everyone. We trust you're having a great start of 2017, and we begin this segment with a late-breaking news note. Showtime is canceling 60 Minutes Sports. That's the sports spin-off of 60 Minutes that Showtime has been running since 2013, once a month. Last episode in April. Call HITN the Spanish-language equivalent of PBS, presenting a range of commercial-free cultural and educational programming nationwide. More than 42 million households can pick up the channel via cable or satellite. And what may surprise you is that HITN is that rare television network of any language calling Brooklyn home. In fact, their home is minutes away from this very studio inside the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And thanks to a partnership struck last October with production company Imagina US, which has produced a series of various Latino channels, HITN is poised to expand what it can offer Brooklyn and beyond this year. And now in our home, the President and Chief Executive of HITN, Michael Nieves. Michael, Fiesta Nuevo, and welcome to BK Live.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Why do you call your network Brooklyn home?
We moved into Brooklyn in 2005. We originally started over 3 decades ago in Manhattan on Canal Street, and we moved over into Brooklyn. It was an opportunity for us to do 2 things. Take property that the city had which wasn't being used. We were the original anchor tenant in the building that we are located in. We are now expanding. We have 15,000 square feet now, and we're expanding in the next 2 years to 35,000 square feet with a brand new studio, fully developed studio on the roof with the overlooking the Manhattan skyline. So we're excited to be in New York. We're excited to be partners with the Navy Yard and what's happening in the development of the Navy Yard. And we've been here, we were the anchor tenant, so we've been here a while.
And to put this in context, this is a far cry from what everyone else in Spanish-language television does. Univision and Telemundo are based in Miami. Azteca America is based in Los Angeles with Mexico City, Estrella TV and other major players in Los Angeles. So this is the exception to the rule.
Yes, because 2 reasons, right? One is our major business is Spectrum, right? We are the largest non-for-profit Spectrum holder in the country. We are in over 90 markets, and we are not-for-profit. And we were developed with funding by New York City Council. And in that development, one of the agreements was that we would be based in the New York City area. So we went out looking for property, and we found it in the Navy Yard. After testing satellite sites, it was a perfect site for it. And we were actually the anchor that brought in Steiner Studio, because we developed the fiber lines and everything before Steiner Studio even came in. So now Steiner Studio is there as a result of HITN's vision over 15 years ago.
So what kind of relationship do you have with Steiner, which continues to expand with film and television?
They're clearly the 600-pound gorilla in the Navy Yard. We're small. You know, we have a cordial relationship with Doug and his people there. We don't do what they do. They do major productions. We do small productions. Most of our programming is programming that we purchase from Nat Geo or from Discovery or from CBeebies or whoever we have a partnership
CBeebies
with.
is the BBC Children's
Services, right. And now with Imagina, who comes to us, they have their own big studio in Miami. They're located in 60 countries around the world. They have a staff of 4,400. They will be starting at HITN soon with about a staff of 17 to 20 people. We ourselves, when we expand, we will have an additional 15 to 20 people. So we're starting to move. We expect that in the next 3 years, our footprint will be 35,000 square feet.
So this is not only a job creator for Brooklyn, but I understand 2 other things. 1, it may allow your program to become even more ambitious than it is.
Yes.
2, it also may allow third-party companies, whether they are Latino, whether they are situations with people of color involved or women involved, that they may be able to use those studios or facilities to create more original TV
we're
programming.
looking for comparable organizations like ours and non-for-profits who need the studio space or who need the overlooking of the New York City background. We did the Copa America was filmed at HITN on our roof when they used the New York City skyline as its background. What we want to do is try to get not-for-profit, smaller channels to come in and partner with us. So what we're trying to do is, if you come in, we don't want to rent, or we want to actually have a partnership with you. So we can take your content and air it on ours, you can take our content and air it on yours. That's the whole scheme of our development, and it seems to be working. We've had a number of other companies who've reached out to us after the Imagina thing. Imagina is now based in New York as a result of the partnership with HITN.
What do you see as your network's biggest programming goal this year in terms of new programming? Do you want to get into scripted television? Do you want to do more children's, want to do more cultural, want to do more in the arts, want to do more?
There's two things, right? We have a demographic of younger Latinos who unfortunately don't speak the language. So we want to try to do some programming for Latinos in English so that they can get the benefit of our culture in the language that they understand rather than in Spanish. The other thing that we want to do is we want to develop more of, we were a grantee of a $30 million grant from the United States Department of Education to help us develop apps for children. So we created this children's block. And part of the children's block, we're trying to convert into family engagements, getting the parent engaged, so that we will soon be giving about 100,000 pieces of our development to families for free throughout the country so that the parents can be engaged with the children, show the children how to use the app, how to read, how to conduct themselves and be prepared. It's all part of the pre-K strategy. So that's one of the goals that we have for this year.
Well, since you mentioned that, Michael, you know that we have a smart TV and a smart device society, people using Roku, Apple TV, Google Chromecast, et cetera, et cetera. If you develop apps, would they be also going on the television set, similar to what Apple TV and all these other people are doing?
Yes, but unfortunately, I still use a BlackBerry. So I'm not.
We got to work on that.
So I'm not too in tune, but the people who work for me at HITN assure me that will be happening. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of cooperation are you getting from the production community here in Brooklyn to what you're doing or what you want to do?
Well, we recently had some interaction with Vice. You know, we're being received well, and we want to reach out to them and let people know that we're here. I've only been there 18 months, and I am taking HITN on a new strategy, which is to reach out locally and across the country. We just opened an office in Miami as part of the exchange with Imagina. We're based in Washington. We have an office in Puerto Rico, and we're looking where else we can do it. There is a lot of movement in Brooklyn and a lot of movement near where we're at, right outside on the other side of the fence in Greenpoint and Williamsburg. There's a lot. So we're creating it. We, with Imagina, have created a study recently to identify where all these entities are and what their productions rates are so that we can have a clearer picture of what's going on in Brooklyn and how we can offer it as a package when we invite people to come into the Navy Yard, that we will be able to provide these services as of one price for all the fees and services all in one package.
Mm-hmm. The tape that we showed before you came on showed a lot of the key cable operators and satellite operators that are taking the network. You have about 42 million households that are covered.
We have 42 million households that actually receive us, and we pass through 72 million.
Mm-hmm. How are you trying to use them to let more people know that you're on? The same way people know that Univision's on and Telemundo is on.
So what we're doing now is we're embarking this year, which we haven't done in the past, in a very robust marketing campaign. We're going to dedicate a large number of money to that, and we're partnering with the providers, and we're going into, we recently did one with Laura Rosa, who's one of our cooking shows, and we did a book signing with her, and we partner with Telemundo, and we partner with was at that time Time Warner, which is now Charter Communication, and that's how we're trying to get out there, right? By doing much more marketing across the country, and we're starting a strategy with 10 particular markets, the highest 10 Latino markets, where we think we could have a better impact, and people get to know who HITN is and what we're about.
Do you see, by the way, as you go forward this year, a bigger relationship with Mayor de Blasio's Office of Media and Entertainment that Julie Menon is now in charge of, who has been trying to encourage more diversity, more women of color, people of color to be involved with television?
Well, before I came to HITN, I was Deputy Chief of Staff at the New York City Council for a number of years. So I know my way around city government and that. Yes, that's one of the goals that I have of getting. Eric Adam and I met on Friday. And,
the Borough President
of Brooklyn. And he and I are going to talk about how we're going to help utilize city funds to help us expand and create more jobs for Brooklyn.
Well, it looks like there's going to be a lot to look forward to with your network and the possibilities opens for Brooklyn, job-wise, program-wise, and so forth this coming year. Michael Nieves, the head of HITN, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And you can learn more about HITN's programming 24/7 at www.hitn.org. When it came to last night's Golden Globe ceremony, AMC's miniseries The Night Manager came away with the most television awards, all for acting. Tom Hiddleston, Hugh Laurie, and Olivia Colman won in their respective categories, while American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, which some critics thought would be the top program winner, ended up with awards for Best Miniseries or TV Movie. And Sarah Paulson's performance as Marcia Clark. The other big TV winners were Atlanta on FX, capturing Best Comedy Series and Comedy Actor for its creator and creative overseer, Donald Glover. And Netflix's The Crown, Best Drama and Best Drama Actress for Claire Foy. The big loser, HBO, coming in with 14 nominations, the most of any programming service, and they walked out empty. Freeform launched its first new series of the year last week, the supernatural drama Beyond. Creator executive producer Adam Nussdorf is my lead guest 2 hours from now on Tomorrow Be Televised. Also, learn what developments that unfolded last week at CES in Las Vegas will impact TV's future from Roku product manager, director Lloyd Clark. All that and more, 3 p.m. today on Blog Talk Radio. And join me for a special Tomorrow episode Wednesday afternoon that leads off with Gloria Caldwell-Kellett and Mike Royce, the executive producer of Netflix's critically acclaimed reboot of One Day at a Time. It's off